When I was on that stage press conference, I kind of got emotional a little bit. Like, wow, I'm back here again where I started. And just how Stephanie White was speaking so highly of me. Like, I'm like, this is where I need to be at, and this is where I belong. And I'm just so happy to be able to come back and handle some unfinished business.
According to Cheryl Swoop, no one wants Indiana Fever is shown to be incorrect.
The Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Natasha Howard demonstrated her detractors, I was mistaken to join the Indiana Fever and fervently support Caitlin Clark and the team as a whole.
Really excited to also play with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, like the player that, that I also say stuff on the court to them when I'm like playing against them. So, but I'm happy that I'm playing with them, not against them no more.
Being a 3-time WNBA champion, a former Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the few players in the league to average 18 points and 7 rebounds per game last season, Natasha Howard is not just any player. So why would a top player like Howard choose to play with Caitlin Clark, and how is she defending Clark and the Indiana Fever? Let's get started.
What's up, fans? I'm happy to be a Fever. You see me? You see me with this on? Yeah, I'm back, baby. I'm back where I started. Let's go.
Critics quickly attempted to discredit Caitlin Clark back in April, with Cheryl Swoop spearheading the effort to argue that no one would want to play with Clark in Indiana. That argument has since been totally disproved.
What kind of things you've said?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay. But
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
It's
a turn. Right? It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Well, Gil, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody saw it.
The idea that established WNBA stars would avoid the Indiana Fever was promoted by critics like Cheryl Swoops, who suggested that veterans would avoid Indiana in order to avoid the Caitlin Clark circus. With the media attention, packed arenas, and spotlight, this became a popular narrative for those attempting to minimize Clark's influence.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Cheryl Swoops is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
Then, an unforeseen event occurred. 3-time WNBA champion, past Defensive Player of the Year, and well-respected league veteran Natasha Howard made a complete circle journey by signing with the Indiana Fever and then returning to the team that recruited her in 2014.
This is a tremendous, not only tremendous player, but a tremendous person. And what she's done the last 9 years in her career has put her in the elite company of many athletes and many players in this league. So, I want to say thank you to Natasha and to her family for coming back to us. Because when a player returns to a place that drafted them, that's special. And she chose us because she could have gone anywhere.
During her press appearance, this signing was more than simply a contract. It was a strong declaration that totally upended the Indiana is toxic narrative. With real excitement, Natasha Howard said, "I feel like I'm supposed to be here, and I'm happy to be back where I started."
At the end of the day, the way Indiana came at me with everything they promised me and they keeping their promise, they sold me. And I took the bait for it, and I'm happy to be back where I started and also being back with Coach, and Kelly, and also Amber as well, bringing her along. It's just a blessing to be back where I started, and also for my family and friends to also see me back where I started at as well. Just amazing and a grateful feeling to be.
The moment Natasha Howard received her original 2014 Indiana Fever jersey, it was clear how emotionally charged her return was. It was more than simply a contract signing. It was a complete circle that linked her history to a bright future with a revived squad.
That's a good one right there.
I'll be back like
Number 33, the original. Back at it.
Oh, jersey.
Look, the original.
Right, we was with Adidas.
Woo, look at that.
2014, y'all.
2014, right there.
Meet General Manager Kelly Krause claims that Natasha Howard was not an afterthought in the Fever's offseason strategy. Rather, Howard was their top target, was deliberately chased to change the roster because she was initially characterized as a player of high integrity class and a fantastic teammate.
It's always being on my butt about hustling, working hard, do the little things, because the little things going to take you a long way. And when I got the minutes that I played my rookie year, I took every advantage of it. And I'm happy to be back next to her playing with her and her coaching me.
Fever's when Amber Cox introduced Natasha Howard, she couldn't contain her excitement. She pointed out that most players only have one page on their resumes, but Howard's accomplishments span multiple pages, demonstrating the elite talent's decision to join Caitlin Clark in Indiana.
We have the talent, but first of all, we have the people to actually do it. So my thing is, I'm happy, like I said, to be a part of this and also bring the leadership and the desire to show this young group what it takes to win a championship. I have 3, so my thing is to show them you can't take no days off in practice. You gotta think when you practice, it's the way how you play. So my thing coming in, I'm just gonna show them this is how you work hard. So when you work hard, it's gonna be easy in the game. It won't be as hard. So my thing is just bringing that championship mentality to the locker room and to this team.
In her own words, rather than avoiding the Fever, Natasha Howard showed her sincere gratitude, stating, "I'm really honored and blessed to join a team that appreciates me." This is what makes this signing genuinely remarkable and completely dismantles the Swoops narrative.
Of accomplishments are long. People say you should have a one-page resume. Natasha cannot have that. It is several pages. 3-time champion, 2-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player. Again, the list goes on and on and on.
When asked about her development during her initial time with Indiana, Natasha Howard said, "I've grown a lot as a person and as a player. Many teams didn't truly appreciate me." Her choice to join the Fever was motivated by more than simply basketball. It was also a personal search for a place where her abilities and skills would be respected.
It was day one. When I got this job, Kelly and I were on the phone, and we had 2 things on our to-do list: re-sign Kelsey Mitchell and bring back Natasha Howard. We have been focused on this day and this moment since the day we started this process.
Not only did Natasha Howard find a team that values her, but she also found the ideal basketball partner in Caitlin Clark. This isn't your typical pairing. It's a dynamic duo that includes Flash Howard and possibly the most inventive distributor in today's game. Howard's elite transition scoring ability gives Clark the precise target he needed in Indiana, and despite critics' claims that no one wanted to play with Clark, the two were quietly developing what could turn out to be one of the most lethal fast break duo the WNBA has ever witnessed. Imagine watching this chemistry develop every night on the court.
Sitting next to me is of high integrity, high class, great teammate. Players in this league love her. So welcoming her back, putting her on the floor with our guards, there's a reason why her nickname is Flash.
Last season, Howard stood out as one of the few players to average over 18 points and 7 rebounds per game, demonstrating not just good but truly elite efficiency. Her ability to score points during transitions is what makes Natasha Howard and Caitlin Clark so unique. She sprints down the court at full speed, maintains excellent body control, and finishes at the rim, exactly what a passer with Clark's vision needs.
A 10-point lead now for Mersin. And it's stolen away. Howard leading the charge, hands it away, gets it back. Oh, a one-handed off 2. A little bit of showboating for Mersin. Gotta love that.
Last season, the Indiana Fever had trouble using Caitlin Clark's spectacular passing, as many potential assists were missed as a result of teammates failing to maintain pace or finishing in traffic. A season finisher, Natasha Howard, told her excitement, "I can't wait to run the floor and get those passes."
Season with a minimum of 25 games played, Natasha Howard was one of just 13 players to average 18 points per game. She was one of 16 players to average 7 rebounds per game. And the list of players to average both 18 and 7 last year, short and elite. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Brittany Griner, and yes, Natasha Howard. Versatility is a major calling card for Howard.
With her nearly 7-foot wingspan, Natasha Howard is a defensive nightmare who can guard multiple positions with ease. In addition to her offensive firepower, Howard has transformed the defensive identity of the Indiana Fever, who finished near the bottom of the defensive rankings the previous season. Howard has averaged at least 1 block and 1 steal per game for 7 straight seasons.
And we haven't yet touched upon what Howard does best: defend. Howard was named Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 and has finished in the top 10 of the Defensive Player of the Year voting 3 times in her career. Howard has averaged at least 1 block and 1 steal per game in each of her last 7 seasons. And that versatility is really what makes her a weapon on defense.
Natasha Howard is a defensive nightmare who can guard multiple positions with ease. In addition to her offensive firepower, Howard's nearly 7-foot wingspan gave the Indiana Fever, who finished near the bottom defensively the previous season, a significant boost. Howard has averaged at least 1 block and 1 steal per game for 7 straight seasons, completely changing the team's defensive identity.
Wingspan and 6'2" height allows her to be disruptive defensively around the rim on opposing bigs too. In fact, Howard will enter the 2025 season 25th all-time in blocks in WNBA history.
Natasha Howard gained the moniker Flash because to her lightning-fast reflexes and ability to come up out of nowhere to produce plays. Her quickness and basketball IQ enable her to locate open spaces that perfectly complement Caitlin Clark's accurate passing.
It's going to be Caitlin Clark Flash Show, So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court, because that's like as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she's throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
When planning against the explosive combo of Caitlin Clark and Natasha Howard, opposition coaches will have a nightmare because if they concentrate too much on Clark's depth, Howard will dominate one-on-one games inside. If they focus too much on Howard's role at the rim, Clark will find space. This pick-your-poison scenario with shooters on the perimeter might significantly improve both players' games. Cheryl Swoops once said that there were problems in the locker environment at Indiana, but the Fever's spectacular roster change, which included Howard's addition, disproves her.
Caitlin in particular, what do you see from her game during her rookie year, and just what's an excitement level playing with someone like that who has just changed the whole landscape?
She can spread the floor by shooting. She could dictate the floor as a point guard. She's an amazing passer, so I can't wait to run the floor and get those passes. She just grown just this past season, just like how she take the game day by day, and also just learning from other players and stuff. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this team and also ready to catch her passes.
Beyond Natasha Howard, the Indiana Fever's front office has established a championship caliber. Basketball world champion and supporting cast member Dananna Boner Sharpshooter is making waves in the sport. Indiana was selected by veteran point guard Sydney Carlson, a 2-time champion with tremendous leadership, and Sophie Cunningham, who had playoff experience with the Phoenix Mercury. Sydney.
Just playing with my teammates, just getting to know my teammates on and off the court. Because that's one thing I actually want to know is my teammates first, and then know them on the court as well.
The Indiana Fever A team, which detractors said no one wanted to join, attracted 4 championship caliber veterans in a single summer. This isn't a coincidence. Rather, it's a blatant denial of the narrative. Others pushed her, and Cheryl Swoops,